Hi, it's Paul Sackis, Good News Planet and Good News England, and I'm here with Kim Cattrall. Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. Nice to talk to you.
Nice to speak with you. You're here to encourage women to embrace menopause with style, and you've teamed up with Pfizer, and you're a Golden Globe-winning actress and a wonderful actor, and I'm always happy to watch you. Congratulations on your great success in the world of acting and other things we're going to learn about, too. How are you doing
Thank
today?
You.
How do you feel today?
Great. It's a beautiful September day, the first day of autumn, apparently, and we've had a full-packed day getting the word out. It's been very productive, so I'm feeling pretty good.
There you go. And you've teamed up with Pfizer, and one of their models, I guess, is working together for a healthier world, and that's good news. So we're very honored to have some moments to speak with you about their Tune In to Menopause campaign. So tell us a little bit about it and why you got involved.
Well, I feel very fortunate being part of a show like Sex and the City, which was a wonderful platform to speak, especially women of this generation, this time. And really, in that show, we took on a lot of misunderstandings and taboos and fears that women and men face in relationships and intimacy. One of them that my character, Samantha, faced was menopause. She, in the last season of the series, she started having hot flashes and was really sort of having a quandary of who she was and what was happening to her. At the time that I was filming that, I was actually, Kim, myself, not going through menopause. So I called up my gynecologist and I asked her to play those scenes, as authentically as possible. How would I physically react? What would be the situation? And she gave me a couple of scenarios which were very helpful, and I went back and played the scenes, and they were very funny and again, groundbreaking. And then about 2 years later, I experienced my own hot flash for the first time, and it was very disorienting and not at all what I expected or even played in the scene in the series. So since then, I've been working with my doctor to look at what's going on for me and my menopausal symptoms and dealing with them in an educated way, informed way. So when Pfizer asked me to be a spokesperson for Tuning Into Menopause and getting involved with the website, tuningintomenopause.com, I thought it was a terrific fit. And again, along the lines of what I'm really interested in, is giving voice to women and their issues. So it's been fulfilling, and it's really been a lot of fun creatively, putting together a playlist, which is also at the website, with some of my favorite songs. So it's really been fun. There's also a quiz there. So I've found and continue to find creative ways to portray women, at this point in our lives.
Was there any menopause symptom that was really, you would say to somebody that they should know, that you felt that might be very important now to share with others? Is there something that happened to you that you started to say, there's something going on with me that you recognized?
Well, it was that first hot flash. My first hot flash, it was like being put into a vat of boiling water, and I sort of had an inkling of what was going on, but I had no idea of, how powerful it was and what was happening to me. And it was then that I, reached back to my doctor and said, I think I'm experiencing what my character experienced, which was in fact true. And then we embarked together on trying to find out what would get me back as quickly as possible to everyday life and responsibilities and fun and just the way my life had been before. What I found out was that my menopause was uniquely mine. There wasn't a cure-all for it. My older sister, she was already going through menopause at that time, and I reached out to her, but her symptoms were completely different. So, I really learned patience and tuning into what my menopause would be and what I would need to get back to where I was before.
Excellent. Well, the website has lots of information, Tune Into Menopause. can learn a lot of the most important things that someone should know, a woman should know, no doubt about it. Now, you're an active woman overall in general. I know you're involved with many different kinds of things. Are there some other kinds of projects you might be able to share with us so we know a little more about what you're doing?
Yes, I participated in a documentary for American Masters on PBS called The Boomer List, which is, again, concerning, women my age, women and men my age. Basically, people born between the ages of from 1946, the years 1946 till 1964, which is the boomer generation. I had no idea that before I was involved with this project, it was that large a span of 19 years. But it is, and the various stories that all of those the people in the documentary are going through are quite enlightening about the 60s, the 70s, and the change that happened and what we witnessed. And now coming into middle age, looking back on our lives and the choices that we made, and it was really an interesting project to be involved with. I also executive produced and starred in a series which aired over the summer on HBO Canada called Sensitive Skin, which I'm particularly proud of. It's a story about a middle-aged couple going through the wife's midlife crisis. As you can see, there's a theme reoccurring in my work here, which is reflecting what I'm going through in life in the work that I'm choosing to spend time with and to engage with, whether it's tuning into menopause in a personal way, or whether playing a character like Davina Jackson on Sensitive Skin, who's actually going through it as well. So it's a very fertile ground, I think, and also something that hasn't been explored, especially in entertainment.
Where do you feel? I mean, I'm a baby boomer myself, and been in this. I was with public television, Channel 13, and CBS, and so on and so forth, many years. So I have my 40+ years in. But where do you feel that you're doing these kinds of projects? Where does that come from in you? I mean, these are projects where someone's actually going to learn something, and the roles you take on. Where does that come from in you? How come you do that?
Well, I'm very passionate about sharing, knowledge that I have and acquiring more knowledge. So I think that I'm also interested in breaking down taboos, especially for women, about what you can or cannot talk about, and to make them just part of life, not to make them something that is icky or uncomfortable or that signals, the end of an era. It's actually the beginning of something new. And it can be daunting. You can feel alone, and girlfriends are always there to help you through it. But we have so much information specifically about menopause right now that people, don't know how to get to it, or they're timid about asking their doctor. So I want to encourage women and men to learn more about what this experience is like, so we can take the fear out of it and replace it with knowledge and confidence that you will get through it. It's a period of time that can be trying and confusing. But there are answers out there, and I want to be part of providing some of those answers.
I think what was also very important with what you just said was that women and men, because men need to learn how to live with someone who might have menopause. I've had women say that I have menopause, but and some of my ways of life. So it's important because, in essence, we're together, right? Brothers and sisters, husbands, wives, and so on and so forth. And if one of us is not feeling well, whether it's menopause or something else, it definitely puts some stress, let's call it, or some challenges or some opportunities for us to work together, right? I mean,
yes, absolutely.
It's very serious in that way.
Yes. Well, it's all about communication, about sharing, what's going on with you. And menopause, you can have good days and you can have really bad days. And, that's why, for me, finding a physician that I could really share with what was going on with me and for me while we were working together, and finding the right amount of what I needed to even out, my life and get back to what I wanted to do, which was enjoying myself and enjoying my work. When someone in a woman in a relationship is going through menopause, and both partners are, there's ups and downs to it.
finding a good doctor in the process of all this too, that can be supportive of you and hear all your thoughts. I imagine
absolutely. It's in the choosing of the doctor, but it's also, I always like to make a list before I go into a doctor's office and keep some kind of a mental note of what I'm feeling and when I'm feeling it, whether it's taking notes or just writing something on my iPhone to remind myself when I get in there. Because, seeing a doctor and talking about such personal issues, because it's not just physical, it's also very emotional, it can be a really good added plus to getting in there and getting the information and the treatment that not only is required, which you deserve.
Mm-hmm. I have great admiration and respect for medicine companies like a Pfizer. And actually, we started out here in Brooklyn, where I am, and I think many, many years ago. And the amount of research and development that a company like that does, pharmaceutical, to come up with the right kinds of medicines that are really going to make these kinds of bodily concerns easier to live with, it's magnificent. So I can see where partnering with a company like Pfizer is really a good thing. It's really an honorable thing.
Well, thank you.
I wanted to say that.
They
do a lot of good stuff. And they're there for the community. So that's a good thing as well.
Yes, I agree.
Now, you were born in England, is that right? Liverpool? Did I have that right?
Yes, I was born in Mossley Hill, Liverpool, yes.
I just learned that. And somewhere I hear the word football. I don't know why, but somehow the word football came out in somewhere in some place. What is that all about?
Well, my dad was a huge supporter of the Liverpool Football Club. They're called the Reds. There's two teams in Liverpool. One is the Everton, and one is Liverpool Football Club. And my dad was always a Red, and so when your dad's a Red, you're a Red in the sense of the football, of being a communist. And he was always following the footy, as they call it over there, and very passionate about his team. And I've always felt the same way. I've always felt that, I guess in some ways it was something that we always shared and time that we shared. So I continue my support of the football club and cheer them on. I think they played with heart and real heart. So their motto is "You'll never walk alone," which is really beautiful, because when you're sitting in the stadium or standing in the stadium, and you have your scarf that says "Liverpool, you'll never walk alone," and the whole stadium is singing when you walk through a storm, hold your head up high. It really still does bring a tear to my eye, because I'm thinking of the tradition and the love and the support that the city puts behind their team, and to be part of that feels very natural to me. And I love watching them play. I did a play at the Liverpool Playhouse 4 years ago now. I did a Shakespearean play, Antony and Cleopatra, and we were sold out every night. And one night, the captain of the football team, of the Liverpool team, Steve Gerrard, he came to see us play, to see the play, and I shortly after that went to Anfield to see him play, and they won that day, so it was a great day. Steve's a wonderful captain and a lovely guy, so I felt very embraced, not just by the city but also by the team.
Yeah, it's a beautiful game. It's a gentlemanly game, or a womanly game, and a respectful game, and that's the beauty of it. And I think the reason why it is just taking off and exploding so much worldwide. It's an honorable sport, and it's great. And that song, I cry and get goose pimples all the time whenever I hear that song.
Yeah, I do too.
Let me ask you two last questions, and I want to because we're very involved with world peace. And we're just finishing our Central Park show that we just did in this past weekend on the International Day of Peace.
Yes, I'm so sorry I missed it.
And I'd like to include you in that as well. Well, our show is we're editing it so we can share some thought, and it's called the Peace Day Party. In fact, we're having a party tonight at the Copacabana, and I'm inviting you right now at 6 o'clock. You can bring the whole crew and just say...
Oh, that's so sweet of you.
Just say good news or say Peace Day party and you're inside. So it's here in Manhattan, the Copa. So what does peace mean to you?
Harmony. Peace is harmony to me. I think peace is when you take people from different backgrounds, from different points of view, and you find a common ground to build from that.
Well stated. And then the last question is, I ask everyone this, what is good news for you?
Oh, good news. It can take in many shapes, forms. I think good news for me is a feeling of when people say yes to something that you're passionate about, or they join you in an idea that seems impossible or not even popular at the time. When you join forces, that to me, reinforcement. Not feeling alone or isolated, feeling a part of a group.